We're back. Today's video we're going to be talking about my 6 months ownership of this 2017 Shelby GT350R and how in 6 months I have put 2,500 miles on this car, and this car barely has 11,000 miles. So in 6 months, I've put over 25% of this car's total mileage. And we're going to talk through everything that I've done with this car. Not so much from a modification standpoint, because I haven't really done very many mods. I have done some quality of life stuff, but this car is an out-of-the-box type of car. But we're going to talk through all the trips that I've done with this, all the mileage that I've done on this, the racing that I've done with this, the racing I'm going to do with this, and we're just going to enjoy one of my favorite drives by my house that I actually have not done in this car since I purchased it, and was the last drive I did in my 997.1 C2S. Enough rambling. Let's get into it, baby. So I purchased this car in March of this year, 2023, whenever you're watching this video. And I sold my 2006 Porsche 911 C2S Coupe 6-speed manual. This was a car that I wanted for a very, very long time. And the reality of when these cars came out, I actually purchased a brand new, and my very first video ever in this YouTube channel was my 2017 Focus RS. This car is a 2017. The reality at the time was a couple different things. One, most of these cars were selling well above MSRP. When they first came out, 2015, I mean, they made like 130 of those things. Unless you're Jay Leno or someone with that type of pedigree, you weren't getting one. So really, they started in 2016 for most people. And they were trading $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 over MSRP. And people were buying them. So A, I couldn't do that at the time. I could not afford comfortably a $90,000 car. So I've always wanted one of these. And before I bought my 911, I was looking at purchasing a non-R of this. would like to do in my stage of life is have the ability and functionality to get a car seat in the back so my daughters can ride whenever they want to ride. I can't just have a pure two-seater. And to start tracking a car more regularly. That is really what I would like to do. So ultimately, I bought this car March, a little over MSRP, for the exact spec that I wanted, with the super rare optional back seats that you could have bought from Ford Performance directly when these cars were new. There was about 150 that they made and documented. So I came with that. It came with the rear seat delete, so whenever I want to put that back, I have it. It came with the full bumper-to-bumper factory extended warranty, which I plan to extend once it expires, which would be next year, for a little over MSRP, okay? Factory wheels, everything else stock. So I thought it was a great deal. Now, let's talk about my 6-month ownership of this car and what I've done. So I bought it in Northern California, in the Bay Area, if people are familiar, and that is where I grew up. I grew up driving some of those roads with, you know, the first cars that I've owned. I had a Subaru WRX in college, to a Mazda Speed 3, to a Camaro SS, to a Focus RS, right? Like all of the above. Those are the cars that I drove. I never thought in my adult life that I would be able to get a car like this and drive it where I grew up. Now, I don't want to talk too much about that. A lot of my videos that I've done on this car were there, so I encourage you to go look at those videos if you haven't already. So I did that. I've driven this car through a redwood national forest. Like, unbelievable. I've driven this car through the coast. I've driven this car in the PCH. I've done all that. I did a trip to wine country where I went up to Napa with my wife in this car. That was amazing. And then when I finally got the car here, which I want to say was May, I think it was about 2 months in the Bay Area, and I left it in storage, and I would fly back and drive it every once in a while. I raced it for the first time on the track at High Plains here in Denver, Colorado. Yeah. And it was unbelievable. The unfortunate side of that was I recorded a ton of footage that didn't come out great. So ultimately what I had to do was make it the Instagram format. So if you haven't seen that, or you don't follow me on Instagram, please do, as on that media channel, is where I have a lot of the track content. Now, I've made changes since then to my camera setup, to my helmet setup, where in September I will be able to get more YouTube footage for you guys to watch. So if that's something you guys want to see with this car, please let me know and comment below. So let's talk about any issues or maintenance that I've had to do in the 2,500 miles, track days, road trips, everything that I've done with this car. And really, that is detailing, taking the wheels off, ceramic coating them, all proactive stuff that I wanted to do and clean up and protect, and an oil change. That's really it. There's still plenty of life left on these tires. I can probably get another couple track weekends out. So the next thing on my list for this car is new tires. I haven't decided what those tires are. Do I go back to the Cup 2s? Do I go to like Cup 2Rs? Do I go to 4Ss? Probably not. Do I buy the tires, their Vantis Evos? I'm not sure yet. I'm still, the jury's out for that stuff. But if anybody has recommendations, please comment below and let me know. Again, what I do with this car is I actually drive it to work on a weekly basis when the weather is real nice. Not a far drive, smooth drive. I will garage this during the entire winter. I'll put a trickle charger on it, and, you know, I won't see it again until from like November to February or whatever. But I also do want to track at least 2 to 3 weekends a year. And that's the goal with this car. I am so passionate about motorsports, racing, off-roading, and I really wanted a car that is out of the box as much as possible to do that. I've had so many cars that I've modified where, you know, obviously suspension, brakes, tuning, intakes, intercoolers, you name it, and I just don't want to really do that anymore, right? I will to a certain extent, like I did with the 911, but I think with this car, it's not really needed, right? And that's what I really enjoy about it. All I've done is one oil change. I did it, I don't know, 1,000 miles ago. Let's see. Yep, 1,100 miles ago. And I'll do another one after the track day next month, right before I store it for winter. And, you know, I did 2 this year because I just bought the car. I wanted to replace the oil from when I purchased it. And moving forward, I'll probably do oil changes once a year, right? Depending on how much I track it. But that's it. Like, it has been such an amazing car. And honestly, the only downside is that it's like it's a Mustang, right? And, you know, I don't really care, but most people, you know, what's the #1 car that crashes out of me, or, you know, goes sideways, spins out, rolls, whatever? Mustang. And that's just the reality of it. But, like, who cares? This car is so special. How they built this was unbelievable. And just think about this. They put carbon fiber wheels on a Mustang. and they built a one-of-one motor. This motor is not in any other product. The Shelby GT350R, that motor is in a Ford Raptor R. This motor is one of one. The only time you'll ever get this motor is if you own this car. And to me, that's badass. But that's it. If you've made it this long into the video, thank you. Work has been extremely busy. Travel with summer has been pretty chaotic. The goal is to get back to 2 videos, or a video every 2 weeks. But if there's anything that you want to see specifically, whether it's about the car, talking about the car, certain places, you know, the track videos, you guys that are watching all this, I can't thank you guys enough. And please let me know. Whatever your guys' feedback is, like, that's what I want to hear. But I'm just rambling at this point. Let's just hear that voodoo motor, baby.